Today we hear from Luke's Gospel. Once, while Jesus was standing beside the lake of Gennesaret, and the crowd was pressing in on him to hear the word of God, he saw two boats there at the shore of the lake. The fishermen had gone out of them and were washing their nets. He got into one of the boats, the one belonging to Simon, and asked him to put out a little way from the shore. Then he sat down and taught the crowds from the boat. When he'd finished speaking, he said to Simon, "Put out into the deep water and let down your nets for a catch." Simon answered, "Master, we have worked all night long, but have caught nothing. Yet if you say so, I will let down the nets." When they had done this, they caught so many fish that their nets were beginning to break. So they signaled to their partners in the other boat to come and help them. And they came and filled both boats so that they began to sink. But when Simon Peter saw it, he fell down at Jesus' knees, saying, "Go away from me, Lord, for I am a sinful man." For he and all who were with him were amazed at the catch of fish that they had taken. And so also were James and John, sons of Zebedee, who were partners with Simon. And Jesus said to Simon, "Do not be afraid. From now on you will be catching people." When they brought their boats to the shore, they left everything and followed him. Over the last weeks, we've been seeing things from a number of different perspectives. And as we begin to return to what are familiar things, we look at them with fresh eyes. Last night, we held the first organ recital since the lockdown began. And the church, looking very different with the chairs spaced out, all of us there wearing face coverings, no refreshments being served, but just sitting and listening and amazed and enjoying the space around us. You look with fresh eyes at the building. You listen with fresh ears to the music, and you're overwhelmed by the beauty that is around you. The previous recitals, perhaps we hadn't listened in the same way. Perhaps we hadn't valued the same things because they had become commonplace. They had become familiar and routine. We'd become used to being in the church. We were familiar with being in that space and what it looked and felt like. And so we began to take things for granted. Then suddenly we're given the chance to see it in a slightly different way, to do things in a slightly different situation. And we see things afresh, and things are then changed. For Simon Peter and his companions, they had been fishing all night. They then sat and listened to this man who had asked to borrow their boats so that he could speak to the crowds. And then he tells them to go and cast their nets into the deep water. Once they've captured a huge haul of fish, they see things from a different place. They see things in a new way, and their lives are changed. I wonder what it is for you that has been a chance to see afresh in the last few days. What is it about your life that you look at from a different perspective? That perhaps you're beginning to notice something that had always been there, but you had become used to, familiar with, taking for granted. I wonder what it is about God's presence in your life that you are now able to see afresh, to recognize and to respond to, as Simon Peter responded to Jesus, having called in the nets. Over the course of this day, perhaps find some space, and perhaps have a think and a look afresh at your life. Have a think and look afresh at the things around you, and see where it is that Jesus is calling you to follow him. To see where it is that Jesus is calling you to be and what it is he's asking you to do.